Hello, my name is Abigail and welcome back to Polyglot Progress. This looks like a mess, I'll say it for you. This is about as aesthetically pleasing as we're going to get. Today's video is going to be a little bit of a different one for this channel. It's just going to be a little chatty ramble, a little bit like the podcast, but obviously a little bit more edited. If you're watching this the day this video is posted, then it is March 10th, 2021, which means today is the 5th year anniversary of this little channel on YouTube called Polyglot Progress. And with realizing that this year is the 5th anniversary of Polyglot Progress, I have just had a lot of time to reflect and think about how I am a totally different person from the person I was when this channel was started. I've changed a lot as a language learner, and at some point I want to make a whole video talking about specifically ways I've kind of changed throughout the years with my language learning, either in terms of approaches that I like or dislike, or feelings that I have towards certain languages, things like that. But I think in addition to the language learning progress, this channel has also somewhat documented my life throughout college. I obviously didn't post as much to this channel as I had wanted to, and obviously this channel does go through the lens of language learning, but I still think that a lot of my thoughts on school and my goals and things like that are shown throughout this channel. And so today I just wanted to reflect on what making videos about language learning and what having this channel has done for me and how that has changed my life and how my life has changed alongside that. This year is, I believe, actually my 10th anniversary on YouTube.com. I have been uploading videos since 2011. That's wild. I don't know how many people know that I had channels prior to this one, and even alongside this one for a little while, but I got my start making stop motion videos with American Girl dolls. I don't even know how I stumbled upon this corner of the internet, but I thought that it was so cool that you could take inanimate objects and somehow animate them and make them look like they were moving and doing things, and then record voiceovers and have them talk and all of this. I just had no idea that that was something that you could do outside of a film studio or outside of being a professional, and I was so intrigued by it and I felt like I had to do it. And so I did. I used a little point and shoot camera that we had at my house, and I took hundreds and hundreds of pictures of these dolls moving a centimeter at a time, and I taught myself to edit on Windows Movie Maker. I think the highest number of subscribers I ever had on that channel was about 400, and it took me like 2 years to gain that many. And I'm realizing as I say that I may have actually been on YouTube since 2010. Maybe my 10th year anniversary was last year. I don't even know at this point. I really enjoyed doing it, and it was really fun, and I really attribute that channel to a lot of the reason that I ended up continuing YouTube and ended up going to film school in the end. I think that was really the turning point for me that made me kind of look into something like that. I no longer do any sort of animation, but that period of time when I was trying to teach myself how to make these videos and trying to make my videos better taught me about how to be a YouTuber, I guess you could say, but more importantly, it taught me about cameras. I taught myself what aperture was and what lighting was and all of that, and how to use a camera. It led to me saving up and buying a DSLR, which happened years later. It really happened after I was kind of done with that channel, but it was what got me to do that. It taught me how to edit. I literally, like I said, learned how to edit on Windows Movie Maker just so I could make these videos. And then in time, I taught myself iMovie, I taught myself Final Cut, and then I went to film school and learned Avid and Premiere and things. But if I hadn't made those silly little videos, I would definitely not have ever started to learn those skills. Those were not skills that I was going to be taught in school or anything, and are things that I need to make these videos today. And then after that, I had a music video channel, not with my dolls, not a stop motion thing, but do you remember, I feel like I can't explain this to people who were not necessarily there, But do you remember on YouTube between about 2011 and 2013 when people would make jump cut music videos? Because I certainly do, and embarrassingly enough, I was a part of that. I had a YouTube channel where I posted those. I don't even remember the name of it at this point. I only had it for a little while for a few videos, and then I deleted it, I think, unless it's still up floating around somewhere, and made a new channel where I started originally posting music videos and then shifted into sketch comedy videos, or like sketch comedy vlogs. Some of you may have seen some videos from this channel. There's a certain video about language learning and language learners that has quite a few views that's on that channel. I actually made that video, I guess, right at the start of Polyglot Progress. And so yeah, I did run that channel alongside Polyglot Progress for a little while. By that point, I was really doing less sketch comedy stuff and more so just kind of videos and vlogs documenting my life. I really liked that being able to look back on those videos showed me what my life was like. And one thing that I love about that channel is I did kind of stop once I was in college. I made a couple of videos, but for the most part I was done with that channel. Polyglot Progress was my priority and I didn't even have much time for that. But I love that that channel now serves as almost kind of like a time capsule for my high school years. I started making videos this spring of my freshman year on that channel, and I made them all throughout high school, and that really, I think, is where you can also see me grow into my decision to go to film school. When I first started high school, I thought that I was going to go to veterinary school. I'd say that as I continued through high school for a while, I definitely had that idea of, wouldn't it be so cool if my job was to make these sketch comedy videos and be a YouTuber as my career and things? And eventually I dropped the idea of going to veterinary school and really just decided that I was going to go to film school, and so I ended up doing that. I also, in addition to jumping around from channels, had kind of channels I would run at the same time. So it made sense when Polyglot Progress started to be doing that alongside my channel, but eventually it did take over as my priority, and now this is the only channel I upload on. Sorry to disappoint any of my 3 fans on my personal channel, but I don't think I'm ever going to upload again on there, really. But I really think that the 5 years of making things prior to college is what made me do that. And I think the videos for Polyglot Progress specifically have definitely changed my life even more. I've always had an interest in language learning and in other languages, and the idea of being multilingual, it was something that I was really fascinated by as a kid, and I thought that it was impossible for me to learn another language and be bilingual or multilingual. I thought that it was something that you had to be raised with, and I tried to teach myself other languages, but I kind of always failed. But I think more of that was because I was in elementary school and trying to learn solely off of Muzzy. And my sophomore and junior year of high school is really when I got committed to learning other languages and realized that this is something that I can do and I can have as a passion and actually even be good at sometimes. And 100% the reason that that is because of language related YouTube videos. This is definitely not a new kind of YouTube origin story. I know that Ophelia and Lindy have had similar stories, and I'm sure many others have. But fully, I was just on YouTube, I was looking at things. I think the first language YouTube video that I ever watched was one of Benny Lewis's videos about learning Esperanto, because I was studying Esperanto. And then from that video, I discovered that there were whole channels of people just posting about learning languages, and they were adults who were teaching themselves these languages. But definitely the videos that I think had the biggest impact on me were Tim Doner's videos and finding Lindy's channel and seeing her videos. Basically, I felt like I was almost too old and too young at the same time to be as good as these people were at these languages. And finding Tim and Lindy basically showed me that there were people who were about my age who, sure, had been studying languages seriously for much longer than me, but who were similar enough in age with me and had started, obviously then, not too much earlier than me to study some of these languages, that were having success. And it was just nice to see other high schoolers doing well with languages, basically. And so it's been absolutely wild and so honestly amazing, and I can't even explain the feeling behind it, to hear people say that Polyglot Progress is what did that for them to start a channel. I literally don't have words to express what that feels like and what that means. And the other thing that just constantly blows my mind is that I'm friends with these people now. I just think that it's really amazing to think that the people that were inspiring me to start learning languages in a different way and to start posting my own videos and all of that, and were my role models, are now people that I consider my friends and I can collaborate with and work with and talk to on a more equal level than just looking up to them. And even besides that, I am so grateful that posting videos on Polyglot Progress has led me to so many friends. There's so many people from all over the world that I never would have met if I didn't post these videos. And I think other than getting to watch my life kind of get documented, that's one of my favorite parts of YouTube, is just all of the people that you end up meeting and talking with and all of that. And especially because our community is based around liking language learning. It's really great to get to meet people with that similar interest. And beyond the people that I've met, Polyglot Progress has allowed me to do so many cool things that I would have not gotten the chance to do otherwise. I think my two favorite things that I think of as just the most amazing things that I've gotten the opportunity to do throughout my time on Polyglot Progress has been the experience doing the Romance Language Challenge with Mango Languages and speaking at the Women in Language conference. Those are the two that, if you ask me the coolest things that I've done as a result of YouTube, I would say those two. The Romance Language videos genuinely took me so many hours to edit, but I remember I was so proud after every single one of them with how they turned out. And just in general, I think that the concept behind them was really cool. I genuinely love Mango Languages. I had used the service prior to working with them, so getting to work with a company that I thought was just already a really cool language product and then designing a challenge with them and getting to execute that, and even though it took up nearly a year of my life and the editing was a lot and just all of these things, it has been one of the coolest things that I have done as a project. And I mean, I left it with like a B1 level of Spanish and Italian, so I'll take it. And then I feel like the Women in Language part speaks for itself. I got to speak at a conference. I was asked to speak at a conference. That's so cool. And I was really proud of how that talk turned out. I did it alongside school. I had to work on it when I wasn't doing homework, and it was definitely crammed in there, but I was really happy with how it came out. I got some great feedback from it, and I just am still very proud of that. I didn't think that before graduating from college I would have spoken at an international conference. It's so cool. In terms of my languages specifically, Polyglot Progress has documented most of my journey with German. I had already been studying for a little bit before I posted my first diary, but you can still see between my first diary and my most recent diary that a lot has changed in my German speaking. I have documented on this channel my full experience learning Spanish and learning Italian. You can see from start to current where I'm at. You can also see my whole journey with Bulgarian, including the gap that I took for like 4 years. You can see so much of my language progress on this channel, which I love, but you can also see my opinions on language learning change. You can see my confidence change, both for better and for worse. And I'm really excited to see that continue over the next however many years, especially with these monthly vlogs that I'm doing now, where you can see my opinions day to day and month to month really kind of change and just see how I'm feeling about languages and language learning. And you know, on that note, let's talk a little bit about the future of Polyglot Progress. So, as I said earlier, I have jumped around a lot on YouTube. I have been on a lot of different channels in a lot of different niches, making a lot of different content. But 5 years into Polyglot Progress, I think I am probably my most motivated and most excited about posting these videos. I feel like Polyglot Progress is just this culmination of my love for languages and my love for making videos. Obviously, this is by no means my finest filmmaking. I'm not using my film degree explicitly how you might think, but it's still storytelling, and it's using videos to be creative, and it's brainstorming things and planning things and then executing it, and I really just feel like it brings those two things that I love so much together. And I also think that even though I've gone to film school, and even though I hope to write films and TV series and that sort of thing, no matter how many feature films I write, I am always going to have a love for videos and for the content that is on YouTube. I think that it's just another medium, and it's really great, and I would definitely not be where I am today without it. So I hope to continue doing it for a long time. And I hope to continue doing Polyglot Progress specifically for a long time. I think I am in this niche of language learning, sure, but I feel like I am not boxed into any one type of content. I feel so much room to be creative and to try different things, which I guess I never really felt on any of my other channels. I felt like I had a brand of what I did, and I couldn't really make other kinds of videos. And in fact, I do want to make different kinds of videos on Polyglot Progress now. And this isn't some big announcement where I'm making totally different kinds of videos. You're still going to see, obviously, the diaries that I post right now, my monthly recaps, videos talking about tips and advice, all of the things that I do now. But I also want to just put less pressure on myself to always have something to say, or feeling like I need to not be giving advice almost, if that makes sense. I don't know, I just have this feeling and this view sometimes when I'm scripting and filming and editing where if it's something like my monthly recap videos, I just feel like, okay, but what is this offering? I'm not really giving anyone any help or advice with their language learning. And with videos that are advice, I'm like, okay, but why listen to advice from me? And also there's so many advice videos on the internet, why do we need these? And with my diaries being like, okay, but who cares about your progress other than you? I just think that I get very in my head, and no matter what the video is, I have some way of being like, okay, but what's the point? And I don't hold other people to those standards. Like, I love watching advice and tip and how to learn a language type videos. I think they're fun to watch. I like hearing what other people are doing. And I also think that there is a benefit to watching them. I think they're a really nice way to just look at things from a different perspective and get different ideas for how you could study languages. There's been so many things that I have tried out that other people have suggested that I have either taken and used for myself or have adapted in some way to fit with myself a little bit better. And in terms of videos that aren't advice or teaching or things like that, I love watching study with me's, and I love watching vlogs, both language related and not language related, which is why I've been trying to get myself to post more of them, even if every single time I almost talk myself out of it. And I love videos like this one, where it is just a rambly, chatty video. It feels like I'm like sitting and getting coffee with a creator I like and getting to hear about things that they're interested in or that they care about or whatever they're talking about. And Polyglot Progress was built as a place where I could document my language progress and I could get feedback from other people, and they could follow that journey if they wanted to, but it really was just for me and for Matilda at the time. So as much as I can overthink things when making new videos and ask myself so many times, okay, but who cares, or what's the point, I think I need to just move into the next 5 years of Polyglot Progress, making things that are videos that I would watch, and every single time that I am asking myself, okay, but what's the point? Who cares? Respond with, I care, and these are videos that I would want to watch. I want to really just lean into things that I enjoy making, that I would enjoy watching, and that I will enjoy watching when I watch them back several years from now to see how my language learning progress was going. And I really want to make this a place where I'm documenting my life a little bit more. I obviously have been doing the monthly recap videos, which I feel like are a great start with that. I want to continue doing that. And I wanted this year to start making diaries that didn't just talk about my progress in languages. I think there's only so many times that I can say, I am feeling okay about things, I don't like my accent very much, here's what I've been doing, blah 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 blah. I don't feel like I am really pushing myself to show my level in different ways when I make videos like that. So I already knew that I wanted to talk about various topics in my diaries. I even kind of started that with my most recent Bulgarian diary, using the little bit of things I could say to talk about my family. But I think that in addition to doing what I was already planning, like talking about my favorite music in German or books that I really liked in Spanish or things like that, I also just want to kind of document my life a little bit. Talk about, I don't know, my move in Italian or something like that. This channel is and always will be through the lens of language learning, but I think that languages are so intertwined with life, and I think for a long time I felt like I needed to separate my own personal life and that sort of thing from making videos about language learning. I feel like the reason for so long Matilda and I both had separate channels and then Polyglot Progress together to talk about languages was because we felt like Polyglot Progress was language only, that's it. But my belief really is that language can't be separated from life, and I think in general I've talked a lot on here about how my goal ultimately is to have all of the languages that I study just be intertwined and naturally a part of my life. And so why not have my life be a part of my languages? I think again it's just that I was so concerned with having Polyglot Progress be language stuff and not having it be Abigail stuff, because I constantly had that feeling of, okay, but who cares? But I know now, 5 years in, I don't want to, I don't know, brand myself as a channel that just gives advice and tips and educates you on how to learn a language. I don't feel like that's me. And I think as much as my lack of self-confidence tells me this isn't a good reason, the answer to the question of what's the point and who cares for certain videos of mine is that they're fun to watch maybe for you. Maybe you enjoy watching them the same way I enjoy watching other people's vlogs. And part of what makes me enjoy people's rambly videos or people's vlogs or any of the videos I watch on YouTube is the creator that makes them. So I guess as much as I don't want to admit it, it means that maybe you care a little bit about me and about the things that I'm doing in my life. And what sets Polyglot Progress apart then from every other channel is the person that makes the videos and the kinds of videos that get made. So, hey, I'm Abigail. I know Polyglot Progress has really changed over the last 5 years in terms of the types of videos being made, in terms of the fact that this was originally a channel with multiple people and is now just me, in terms of the frequency of uploads and the ideas behind the channel, really just in terms of all of it. And I really appreciate those of you that have been here since the start and have been here for 5 years and stuck with this channel throughout all of those changes and all of the different kinds of videos and everything that has come with the last 5 years. I really am honestly just so excited and happy and creatively fulfilled with Polyglot Progress right now and with what I hope to do in the future. Like, another thing that I would love to do is make kind of more put together and polished mini documentaries, but that's going to be a after COVID kind of thing. I really can't wait to document the next 9 months of my language learning and make all of the videos I have ideas for and just really lean into things that I want to watch and be a lot freer with myself in the things that I make. And I'm really excited for the next 5 years too. Thank you all for being with me for the last 5 years, whether you've been here the whole time or for the last 5 minutes. I really appreciate you, and you really do mean a lot to me, whether we've talked before or we have not. And I hope that you're all excited for the next 5 years. I certainly am. And this has been Sappy Rambles with Abigail. I will see you next Wednesday, and remember, practice makes progress.